What is up, all of you beautiful nerds from around the world? I am, of course, Josh. This is the Den of Nerds, and this is another edition of Fan Chats Live. If you're watching this on the replay, what's up? Let me know in the comment section. What do you think of all the things we're going to talk about here? I still do go through comments on these after they air live. Also, if you're new to the channel, if you've never seen my face before or heard my voice, this might not be the video for you. I know that's weird for me to say, but this is actually long form. It's Q&A. We're going to be breaking stuff down, just talking, a lot of talking, me and the subscriber. So this might not be the video for you. Come back and check out an edited video, one of the Nerdy News rundowns or one of the other videos that we do here. If you are used to these things, what is going on, everybody? How the heck are we all doing? Today is a pretty crazy day. The Spider-Man Far From Home trailer dropped earlier today. Very, very crazy, that trailer. A lot to do with Avengers Endgame as well. A lot to do with that movie. So as you're coming into the chat, let me know, guys, what did you think of that trailer? What did you think of that trailer? What did you think of all of the crazy things that they ended up setting up in that trailer? And of course, the big question on everyone's mind, and greetings everyone as I see you coming into the chat. Greetings. The big question on everyone's mind is, of course, is there actually a hole in the dimension? Is there actually a multiverse that is coming to the MCU? Or is Mysterio lying? That is, of course, a big question on everyone's mind, and we're going to get into all of that. This one's going to be super casual. A lot of Q&A, guys, so get your questions ready if you got questions. Definitely willing to take them and go over a bunch of different things. Now, here's the thing, guys. I thought a lot about this. I thought a lot about whether or not there was lies being told by Mysterio. And there's layers to this thing, so we're going to break this down. We're going to really get into this, okay? There's the fact that Mysterio is traditionally a villain in the comics, and he is a hero in this trailer, seemingly a hero in the film. A lot of people think that he's lying just on the merits of him being a villain alone. That is sort of the way that they marry that idea. Second Street Marvel coming in with the super chat. What's up, nerds? The trailer was sick. I'm assuming you said it like that, Second Street Marvel. Sick. And indeed it was very sick. Very, very sick. So there's also the fact that these entities, seemingly these elementals, which we've sort of known about since like that Comic-Con in Brazil, they spoke a lot about this movie at that time. These things all seem to be Sinister Six members. I mean, they're literally on the toy package, Hydra Man, Molten Man. You know what I mean? So it's like literally looks just like the Sinister Six. So what people are saying is that this could be a lie set up by Mysterio, that these are actually members of the Sinister Six, and this is all him playing tricks on people, you know, using technology to trick people, you know, doing the Mysterio thing in the MCU. Now, do I think that there's some deceit going on? Do I think there's some lies going on? Absolutely. Absolutely, I do. But I don't think he's lying about the hole in the dimension, and I almost don't think he's lying about coming from another world. And there's a couple of different reasons why I think he's not lying about those things specifically. And after I get into these points, we will get into Q&A, so get your questions ready. Get your questions ready, people. But here's why I don't think he's lying about those things. The number one thing that comes to mind is Nick Fury. Nick Fury is a smart dude. Nick Fury has a lot of resources. Nick Fury's the kind of character that knows the things that the other characters don't know. He's a spy. He's the spy of spies. This has been mentioned, you know, before in the MCU. So if Nick Fury says that these things are coming in from a hole from a dimension, if Nick Fury says that the snap created a hole in our reality, and if Nick Fury says this guy is from another Earth, then I believe Nick Fury. I believe that unless something crazy is happening where Mysterio is literally that good with tech, like literally Iron Man level good with tech, which I know is sort of a theme that they're playing with in the, in this trailer and possibly in the movie. unless that is shown to us, I'm not convinced that he would have the technological capacity to trick Nick Fury, to trick S.H.I.E.L.D. Now, another way that this could work, though, is if Nick Fury is actually playing the fool. If Nick Fury knows that it's bullcrap, but he's just trying to see where this goes and what this guy is up to, and that's why Spider-Man's involved, and he's going to, double cross him or whatever, like he knows what's going on, then maybe. But the other reason that I do believe that the multiverse is coming into effect is not only because I've just thought that that's a perfect way for them to frame Phase 4 and to lead towards Secret Wars with alternate dimensions. I mean, technically, we already have alternate dimensions. Endgame opened that up as a possibility, and we don't really see what's going on with the world after that. There's no post-credit scene. There's no nothing. Really no context for that. That's why I'm so excited for Spider-Man Far From Home. But I think, like, right along with that, what that means is you're going to get that kind of stuff, that multiversal stuff, alternate dimension stuff. I really do believe that that's the direction Marvel wants to go. It opens a lot up and leads us to Secret Wars. But also, you have to think about what's going on with Sony and Marvel right now. What has Amy Pascal and Kevin Feige, what have they been talking about? What have they specifically been working on together? And what movie starring a different Tom made almost $1 billion? You guys see where I'm going with this? Let me let that sink in for a second for you. Oh, yeah, if you guys could like the stream, that would be awesome. Thank you, Kate. Thank you very much. And what is up, chat? So, I think this could be a way for Sony and Marvel to make Tom Holland exist in two different worlds, to have a Spider-Man in the world with Venom, and possibly to have even the Avengers or other members of the MCU go into that world where Venom is at and literally tango with Tom Hardy. It's also, believe it or not, as ridiculous as this seems, and I do not think Feige would be for this, but it's technically a way where you could bring Venom, Tom Hardy, into our universe. I mean, they're literally doing this. Also, guys, and I know a lot of people talked about this too, but let's talk about Miles Morales for a second. It's very possible that with this alternate dimension thing, and just even with the time jump, right, the 5-year time jump, that Miles Morales could be brought into the MCU. But it could very much make sense that we do a Miles story that exists in a different reality than ours, and then that character then comes into our universe. Now, that actually happens with Secret Wars. Secret Wars is what brought Miles Morales to the 616 universe. The Ultimates universe was destroyed. And so that's really the catalyst there. So there's all sorts of utility in the idea of the multiverse, in the idea of the snap kind of breaking reality and making things, just all sorts of possibilities could happen now. Oh, Joseph says, no way Sony would allow that. I'm not so sure. Sony is very interested in crossing over with the MCU. Very interested. And Sony really wants Spider-Man to fight Venom. And Feige probably really doesn't want Venom in the MCU. He wants to keep that brand clean. And he probably really doesn't want Tom Holland to fight Venom to go over there. But now technically there's a way for that to happen if they do this multiverse. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying here, guys? And so personally, when I weigh all of the different possibilities, when I think about, okay, is it possible that this is just a lie by Mysterio? Yes. But then the Nick Fury thing kind of bothers me about that, And it's more likely to me that, yes, Mysterio is lying about being a hero, and that those could be Sinister Six members, and there could be something else going on with him lying and a twist like that. But I think multiverse is real. I think multiverse is happening. Def happening, in my opinion. So let's get into some Q&A, guys. And obviously, this is going to be a little bit of a spoilers for Avengers Endgame. And, we know all that. If you watch the trailer for Spider-Man Far From Home, you know what is what. So, yeah. All right, let us get into some of these questions. Do you think that the X-Men franchise will start over when it comes to the MCU? Handsome Squidward. Handsome Squidward. I like your profile picture, too. It's pretty funny. Yes, I do. I think the X-Men will be rebooted. We've talked about this a little bit on the channel, but we have some ideas. I personally think, Feige has sort of said that he won't do anything with those characters for like 5 years. That the X-Men don't expect the X-Men anytime soon. We've heard that before. So what I think is going to happen is they're going to reboot. You'll start to see the introduction of mutants. You might even see the introduction of some key players for the X-Men before the actual X-Men franchise begins. I do think you will eventually get X-Men as a franchise, but they're going to make it unique, make it very MCU, and that's pretty much all I can say about it for now. That is what I think they'll do with it. But yeah, they're going to reboot it for sure. When do you think they'll introduce the mutants? I'm hoping immediately. I don't think there's any reason why you wouldn't start introducing the mutants. Especially, think about what they're doing in Spider-Man Far From Home. If Spider-Man Far From Home is literally like the world's putting itself back together and there's a hole in our reality, there's just so much craziness going on. Like, you're sort of upping the ante. That's why, I think it just makes sense, right? And Mr. Dritz Dord, and I see you asking about the Joker teaser. Man, it's just been so much Marvel over here. We haven't done much DC at all. But I think you're talking about the Joaquin Phoenix Joker. And yeah, that trailer's sick. I'm super excited for that movie. Still a big DC fan. Love DC stuff. And the Joker movie has me intrigued, man. And actually, last week we were supposed to get the casting rumor for the Batman, for the new Batman movie. And I will do that. I will dedicate a Nerdy News rundown to that. When we find out who the new Batman is supposed to be, and hopefully it's announced in the morning, I will definitely do a Nerdy News rundown running that story. What's DC, Ryan says. Ooh, end credit scene with Xavier buying the Academy. That would actually be really interesting to start to set up the X-Men and post-credit scenes. You could skip a lot of time, just like they did in Endgame with the Nick Fury thing. You could skip some time. C-Mob says, I think Mysterio is making up the multiverse and he is making the elementals. So a lot of people think that he could definitely be making up the elementals. But then the question is, like I said, why would Nick Fury go along with that? How Nick Fury would know, right? So there's these elemental creatures. You're telling me that Mysterio is so advanced and so skillful that he can just literally trick S.H.I.E.L.D., trick Nick Fury, trick everybody? That would be pretty crazy. If he's capable of that, doesn't necessarily make sense to me. Also, where's this guy been? If Mysterio's coming in with this kind of tech and this kind of where has he been? It makes sense that he's coming from a different world, I think. But, yeah, is he lying? For sure. I don't think he's a good guy, and he'll be revealed to be a bad guy by the end. Brent Maxey coming in hot with the super chat. No question, just supporting the den. Endgame had me worried about the future of the MCU, but thanks to this new trailer and you, I'm getting hyped again. Dude, Brent, thank you so much for the support, brother. I really appreciate that. And yeah, man, I'm glad you're getting pumped. Like I said, I know people were worried about Endgame, but I'm telling you, man, you got to trust Feige. You got to trust the people over there. And you know what's crazy to me, too? On a total side note here, guys, freaking Spider-Man Far From Home might make 1.5 bill now. Think about it. You're talking about the highest grossing movie of all time, Endgame, and now this first movie, it ties so well into that. It's just brilliant. It's so brilliant. I can't believe it. Spider-Man Far From Home is going to be an event film, but it's also going to just kind of be just kind of a nice, fun Spider-Man movie. But it's going to be an event Marvel film. How do they keep doing this? It's crazy to me. They're very good at this. Let us see. Do you think they're going to introduce Namor soon? I know that's a Rower Classic asks. I know that's a rumor out there. And I think there's some people that think that Namor was hinted at in Avengers Endgame. I don't see why not. I mean, let's just say they might have plans for him, maybe Black Panther 2, maybe something like that. But beyond even that, and by the way, oh my God, how cool would it be? Like, Feige when he saw Aquaman, like, and Aquaman's a great movie, very special. James Wan, so cool what they did with Aquaman. But Feige was like, wait till we do Namor. Wait till we do Namor. You know what I mean? And I'm not even saying that it's going to be better than Aquaman, but I'm excited to see Marvel, with a chip on their shoulder doing the Namor thing. That would be really cool. But they could introduce Namor. They could introduce a lot of those kind of new characters that they have sprinkled throughout now. So maybe. When do you think we will see a Fantastic Four end credit scene? So I will say that I do not think we're going to get anything regarding that stuff as Spider-Man Far From Home. I do think, though, Feige and his team and a lot of people are trying to figure out what to do with the announcement later this year at San Diego Comic-Con. I think San Diego Comic-Con later this year, there's going to be a massive, massive Marvel announcement where they'll lay out some stuff for the future of the MCU, some of the coming movies. And I would really like it if somehow they figured out how to squeeze in an announcement about the Fantastic Four. That would be really, really cool. Because I think that's the one they're going to do next, right? So that would be really, really cool. If they could somehow fit that. I mean, how crazy of a year would this be for Marvel? You know what I mean? You just had the biggest movie of all time, and then you get to do San Diego Comic-Con telling people what's next and introducing the Fantastic Four, Marvel's first family. It's kind of poetic, man. The last cameo by Stan Lee, the first Marvel story by Stan Lee. It's very cool. Joseph Lennon says, I just want to see Doctor Doom. You and me both, brother. You and me both, brother. Ken Wu says Spider-Man Far From Home might actually have the Osborn building. Oh, my goodness, I hope so. Oh, my goodness, I hope so. Maverick Pilgrim asks with a super chat, how will Disney Plus play into this? Any misdirection? Okay, so I think I know where you're going with this, Maverick Pilgrim. And yeah, the Disney Plus shows could technically be from different realities now. Depends on what they do with the multiverse. I mean, I think the Loki show is that Loki we saw in Endgame is sort of a offshoot Loki now, right? Different reality Loki. So I do believe that we'll be seeing him in the Loki show. Now, WandaVision is supposedly taking place in the 50s. Who knows how they get there and what exactly is going on with all of that? Could be alternate dimension, parallel universe, multiverse stuff going on. I'd love, too, if there is something big going on, if we get like a scene at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home that's talking about the Illuminati and talking about the conversions and how this rip in Spider-Man Far From Home is just the beginning, which I'm calling right now is going to happen, then possibly for the Disney Plus shows, you could see them tying that kind of stuff in there as well. Maybe there's little post-credit scenes at the end of those series. And it all ties into this big thing that's happening. The multiverse is screwed up right now. Things are really crazy. And then we get an Exile show. Oh, my God. Just give me an Exile show. Come on. Thor better get buffed again if he's taking on Adam Warlock in Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So Thor 2001. It's interesting that you bring that up because I was thinking about that too. And I was like, I really want to see Thor get buff again as well. And I think he will for two reasons. Because I think that, like, if you think what they did with Thor in Endgame was sort of to show his degeneration over the 5-year period of just that guilt and eating him away. And what's really, really interesting is that's almost a metaphor for some of the existential things that are going on for men in our society right now, where like a lot of young men sometimes will feel as though they're a failure and they reject all their responsibility in life. They let themselves go. They just play video games and just hang out and drink. And I think that was something they knew exactly what they were doing with that. And what's the lesson? Well, Thor's character, it might be cool if he stays there, but that's not a good lesson for men. Nah, man, he needs to get back in shape. He needs to regain his manhood and become a man again. So, yeah, I think he will get buff again. Maybe not like as buff as fast, but no, he's gonna get jacked up again. Do I think we'll see Kang the Conqueror? Kayla masks. Yes, I do. And man, it's really seeming like that's more and more of a possibility with the weirder that these things get with the parallel universes and stuff like that. Really crazy. So Kang the Conqueror, I'd be into it, but he's sort of a big deal, right? Ken Cologne hitting they're hitting the Bowflex together. Yeah, that would be great. Um, yeah, I would like Kang the Conqueror. You know what I mean? I really would, but he just feels like he's a really big villain, almost like a new Avengers type level villain. So if that's the case, yeah, bring him in for an Avengers movie. I think that would be really, really cool. The new Avengers versus Kang the Conqueror. I mean, sounds visually stunning. I actually think we're gonna go Dark Reign a little bit more. I think I think the seeds have been planted for Dark Reign, for a new type of like majorly offensive Avengers, more powerful people recruited. I mean, Nick Fury's working with freaking Mysterio. Nick Fury might start working with a lot of different people, man. And remember too that Ghost from Ant-Man and the Wasp was a Shield operative for a long time. Shield's been working with enhanced people for a long, long time. So I would not be surprised if we get some new teams formed and possibly like a Dark Avengers. Man, wouldn't that be dope? Will Downey make a cameo in Far From Home? I know his contract is up, but all the Iron Man things in the trailer, you gotta wonder. I don't think so. If anything, it'll be a voice message. I guess they could potentially do a hologram as well, but I don't think so. I don't think they really need to do that. I think that Downey, like, it just hangs there. You know what I mean? Like, it just hangs over it. We're all mourning Tony anyways. So I don't think they necessarily need to do that, but they could. Yes, the Dark Avengers were created by Norman Osborn. This is after the Secret Invasion. Norman is the one that kills the Skrull Queen. And the world is just shook after the invasion. They're like, we need to be strong. And it's sort of like a 9/11 effect where it's like we feel threatened, we feel weakened, and so we like arm up and get all more militaristic. You know what I mean? Like give up our freedom a little bit because we're afraid. You know, Patriot Act, whatnot. Um, and so I think that's pretty much what happens with Dark Avengers. Shield becomes Hammer, and they're basically like, "Yo, we can't mess around anymore. We need to be brutally ready." And that's what Dark Avengers becomes. Yes, they did. You're late to the party, but Marvel revealed a lot in the trailer. Damon, you're absolutely correct. Josh, do I really believe Bree can carry the MCU? Scooter T2D2. I don't know why that was hard for me to say. I think that's an irrelevant question because she's not going to carry the MCU. She doesn't have to carry the MCU. The MCU is chock full of amazing actors and actresses and just a lot of awesome people, man. And from what I've seen with the Carol thing, she's not involved much with the Avengers at all. You know what I mean? Like she's not like I was actually surprised pardon me, that they didn't integrate her a little bit more into the team. I don't really think she's going to be that involved. I mean, she'll be involved in future stories. She's going to be a big part of the MCU, but I don't think she's like an Avenger. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to explain it. C-Mob says, Josh, I hope Moon Knight will come soon. Heck yeah, man. Dude, me and Ken are such big Moon Knight fans. Oh my gosh, we need that Moon Knight, man. Yes, Captain Britain. I agree with that. Ramon in the morning, I agree with that. We need some Captain Britain. And I need freaking Christian Bale to play Captain Britain. Come on! That would be dope. Who will be the big 2 or 3 characters in Phase 4? Obviously, okay, so from what we're seeing in this trailer, it really looks like Spider-Man's going to be one of those people. Makes a lot of sense. Tony's protege? Yeah, I buy it. Doctor Strange going to be heavily involved. Sam Wilson. Bucky Barnes. But I would say, like, Bucky will still be Bucky and just kind of back Sam up. And Sam's Captain America. So you'll have Cap, you'll have Spider-Man, and you'll have Doctor Strange. I think that's your big 3. maybe Captain Marvel. If I mean, like from what I see right now, I just don't see Carol even fitting into that dynamic. I just don't. They don't use her like that. She's out in space. If anything, Carol will probably be in charge of Sword. You know what I mean? Secret Wars is on the way. Yes. Black Panther too. Yeah, but again, I don't think Black Panther's gonna be. So here's what I think's gonna. Okay, Black Panther could be involved with the Avengers. Depends on what's going on. But I would like Black Panther to be in charge or be a part of the Illuminati. I think we need an Illuminati. And like once you get Reed Richards in there, you got like Reed Richards, you got T'Challa, you probably got Doc Strange, Charles Xavier if you introduce him. Cynical says, "Why didn't Tony Stark just fly away? He didn't need to snap. Explain that." Uh, he just no. He just felt as though he needed to destroy all of them. He just wanted to end it. Didn't want to chance it anymore, man. You're talking about you fly away, Thanos just gets you. You fly away, Thanos just gets you, and then everybody's dead. You can't take that chance. Cannot take that chance, man. Yes, Catherine. They had to cut out a part where Tony sees a future version of his daughter. That's the Catherine Langford thing. Which, by the way, like, what's worse, do if you're in here, which I don't think you are, but like, why you hating? Why you hating on our story? Call our story fake news. It's not true, man. That story's real. Yeah, Ken. That Ken is in the chat right now. That's Ken right there. Yeah, he's feeling better. I'm gonna give him a call right after I get off of here to make sure he's feeling all right. What are my thoughts on the future of Hulk? I'm really confused with the future of Hulk. I couldn't tell you. I almost think maybe they will separate again. But does that like suck? I don't know. I don't know what to think about Hulk. I would love for Hulk to be in more movies, and he is really smart. So that'd be cool. But yeah, I really don't. I really don't know what they're gonna do with Hulk. Question: why they cannot reverse Tony Stark back to life? I mean, that's a weird question, man. Like Tony, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I feel like they technically could have, but maybe that's too much like playing with God, or playing God. I don't know the answer to that question. I mean, mostly just it's because Tony made this amazing sacrifice. Tony, because it's the perfect ending for him. You know what I mean? That's probably it. Silver Surfer is a part of 20th Century Fox. Not no mo. Damon says they can't reverse Tony Stark because his contract is too big. Yeah, maybe. Red Hulk movie. That would be sick, actually. I would absolutely love a Red Hulk movie. I'm surprised we haven't seen Red Hulk yet in the MCU. I think there will be a West Coast Avengers movie with a Hawkeye coming out of retirement again. Well, I think Hawkeye's doing the Disney Plus show, where he's training up his daughter to take over for him, I believe. Or maybe he's doing like a version of the Kate Bishop thing. And what I really hope, and dude, doing this with Renner would be really cool. Like, but the Matt Fraction, David Aja run of Hawkeye, which is like one of the best comic book runs in the last 10 years. That run, if they adapted that to the I almost said silver screen, but I guess to the Disney Plus streaming service, that would be awesome. I'd really like that. What do I think of Worldbreaker Hulk tearing the multiverse apart? Well, Timothy Green, now that we do have the multiverse, we have the opportunity to go into other dimensions and see other versions of Hulk that are still like angry and mad. So maybe we will get Worldbreaker Hulk that way. I don't know. Could be cool. How many times can Hawkeye come back from retirement? More than Jay-Z. Where is Gamora? She's out in space. They're trying to find her, man. That's what they're scanning for at the end of the movie. When Star-Lord and Thor are having that thing where who's in charge and they're swiping, they're literally looking for Gamora on that chart. So Peter's trying to find her. She leaves. She bails out before the end of that battle. Also, when Cap went back in time for the stones and he put the Soul Stone back, does that mean Black Widow could still be alive? Stephen Velazquez. God, I'm so bad with names. That's something a lot of people have been talking about, and I don't think so, man. Like, again, I think the Soul Stone thing is kind of a permanent dealie. That's like a one-way trip. Like, when you die, when you are sacrificed as a part of the Soul Stone, I feel like that's a cosmic contract that cannot simply be broken, even by the stones themselves. So, because wouldn't that kind of defeat the I mean, because the Soul Stone itself can bring people back to life, I believe. So even with just that stone, you could just bring them back to life. Don't you think they'd write that into the contract that you can't just bring them back? That's like wishing for more wishes, you know? It's genie rules. You can't do that. How do I think Deadpool could come into the MCU? You know what? It's going to be very similar to Mysterio, except with a lot more jokes, and he'll know what's going on and break the fourth wall and talk about the Fox Disney deal and stuff. That's what I think. So it's relatively easy. Did I cry when Tony died? I didn't cry when I didn't cry when Tony died, but the moment with him and Pepper, and even the moment with Peter when he's sitting there like dying, was really emotional. Like, I got really emotional. I welled up, but I didn't actually cry. The first time I saw Endgame, dude, I got so emotional at almost every single moment. That whole movie's just so sad. Now, the other time I watched it, I wasn't as sad. I was just like in for the ride. But like the first time I was like, damn, this movie's sad. Still no clue. Thanos bought the entire army at the end. He destroyed a quantum timer and came through, and then bought his army, destroyed the van too. Luis Ortez, the way he came through was his scientists literally replicated the Pym particles. He took his whole army, took Pym particles and shrunk down, and then went through within the little ship that he was going through. The nebula that was in our timeline opened the portal up for him in the Avengers facility, and then all of his armies came through using all of the Pym particles that he reproduced. Pepper Potts is in Far From Home. We've seen her in the first trailer. She's not in the second one, but she is in the first trailer. Liam Sherman says, I think Gamora got dusted with Iron Man snap. I do not think so. I do not think so. I think that Gamora will be the plot of Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Have you heard the theory that the radiation from the energy wave put out by the gauntlet during the snap could be what eventually causes mutants in the MCU? Anthony asks. Yes, I have heard that. It's a very cool idea. I think something like that will happen, but it might not be the energy wave from the snap. It could be the quantum realm via the time travel. It could be the splitting of the universe. It could be the fact that the stones have been destroyed and now time is kind of whacked out. Multiple things could be taking place. But yeah, I do think there'll be something like that that does start to cause the mutations. How does MJ know Peter is Spider-Man? She's wicked smart. Black Rex. She's wicked smart. That's how. 3 snaps happened on Earth. I know, right? It's crazy. 3 snaps happened on Earth. And a 4th snap, I believe, happened when Thanos was on Titan. When he tried to destroy the stones. I believe that he would snap to do that. So the Fantastic Four from our Earth or another? Ooh, good question. It'd almost be easier to bring them in from another. Do I think Ryan Reynolds wants to be a part of the MCU? Absolutely. I think the quantum realm could connect to the negative zone, setting up Annihilus. Max to Max 63 says. Yeah, that's a thought we had before the movie came out, something that Al Schuler and I talked a lot about. There was a lot of like subtle hinting at Annihilus as a possible thing. Negative zone, very similar. There's that quantum city that's in Ant-Man and the Wasp, still completely unexplained in Endgame. So maybe that comes into play, and it's the negative zone or something. That would be kind of cool. Do I think X-Men could ever link to Avengers series? Dire Poppy, yes. I think Avengers verse X-Men is happening. That's way too good of a thing for them to not do. Like, that's crazy. Avengers vs. X-Men on the silver screen done by Feige and the people at the MCU. Woo! Sign me up. That sounds crazy. But that's still probably like 8-10 years away, because if they're not introducing the X-Men anytime soon, we need them established, and then we need a new set of Avengers, and yeah. And I almost feel like they'll do Secret Wars before they do Avengers vs. X-Men, which I think is kind of a mistake. But whatever. The Thomas Fan 95, which superhero female would go good as Peter's girlfriend? Interesting question. Hero, you say? Hero. I don't really know. I mean, that's kind of an interesting question. Sort of blanking on it. I mean, I'm thinking of like Silk, but like that's sort of cheating. Like she's sort of created by the same spider as Peter in the comics. Gwenpool, obviously, but that's kind of cheating once again. Yeah, a lot of the heroes that we have in there right now are too old for him. Maybe like a Monica Rambeau, if she eventually grows up and becomes sort of a superhero in the Captain Marvel vein. Maybe her. Maybe Shuri. You know what I mean? I guess, depending on the age gap, Ant-Man's daughter, Cassie, is she old enough now? Like, I don't know. A little confused by all that. Cassie Lang, yeah, maybe. Do you think another reality was created when Loki disappeared with the Tesseract? Yes, I do. I do. Show us the Spider-Man Far From Home trailer. I don't really want to. I mean, I could, but I don't really want copyright issues. DeAndrew Fine loves the show, bud. Thank you so much, DeAndrew Fine. I appreciate it, man. Cassie is now like 15, 16. Okay, so she's got to grow just a little bit more. No, but that guy that was asking all those questions did hit us up on Instagram. Christopher Dumont with the super chat. Thank you, brother, but there's no question there. I don't know if you were trying to ask something. Do you think Black Cat could come to the MCU? Definitely. They could definitely do Black Cat. I don't see why they wouldn't. I wonder if they'll have Kid Loki. Is that how that happens? Or how could that happen? I don't know. That would require like a resurrection sort of thing. I don't know if they're going to do that. Everyone like the video, Mr. Star Wars T says. Hey, he said it, not me, but yeah, you should totally do that. Just showing love, Christopher Demont says. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Endgame has more plot holes than a spaghetti strainer. I don't know. I don't know if I agree. I know some people feel that way. I don't know if I agree. Savage Droman says I'm the man. No, man, you're the man. I'm just some guy on a microphone. I want to see Iron Lad. I could get down with some Iron Lad. Oh, really? Second Street Marvel? That's dope. I didn't know that. Boom shakalaka. Look at that. Thank you, man. Do you think Zendaya fits the role of MJ? Well, she's sort of a new interpretation of MJ, but I like her character. You know what I mean? It's a different world now, you know? She's not the traditional MJ, which is funny because this Peter's almost the most traditional MJ. In my opinion, he just fits the mold of the most traditional Peter we've ever had. But I think, he's modernized. So they sort of look, guys, I don't know about you, but I think in high school right now, there's probably a lot of people like MJ. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think she's a realistic character for what girls might be like in high school right now. And I think she's cool. So did Doctor Strange know that Tony was going to die the entire time and didn't attempt to save him because he knew? Yeah, probably. Is it true Sonic the Hedgehog snapped Thanos in his entire heart? How about that Sonic the Hedgehog thing, though, man? That's crazy. They came out with that trailer, and it was so hated that the director's like, all right, we're going to change it. That's hilarious. I mean, it's awesome. It's kind of awesome that they're doing that, but also quite hilarious. Feel bad for that effects team. I wonder if they're all going to get canned. That trailer is terrible. Yeah, that Sonic trailer was bad. Did any of your theories come true in Endgame? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. I thought they were going to go get the stones. I thought there was going to be time travel. I thought that they would use this. What's funny is I couldn't really decide who was going to use the gauntlet. And remember, I said that Hulk was going to use the gauntlet, but originally I said I didn't think it was going to work. And then someone else would have to use it, and it would cost them their life. And I said that was either going to be Captain America or Tony Stark. Did Captain America tell Peggy Carter that he made out with her great niece? Probably not. A gentleman doesn't kiss and tell. Not a big deal, but Peter wearing Tony's glasses in the trailer. Yeah, and apparently, I mean, he's probably going to use those glasses to see, like, some kind of thread or see some kind of digital thing or whatever. But yeah, he's wearing Tony's glasses. That was really cool. Joseph Lennon says, if Peter Parker is such a big Star Wars fan, how come he doesn't recognize Mace Windu? Maybe in this universe, there was no Mace Windu. Nick Fury and Maria Hill back with S.H.I.E.L.D. in this movie? Yeah, I do think so. I think they've always been with S.H.I.E.L.D., but I think they're sort of underground S.H.I.E.L.D., like the secret S.H.I.E.L.D., if you will. Can we have Miles Morales in Far From Home? Yeah, I think so. I think we can. I think we might. Do you think Captain Marvel could have survived the snap? What do you mean could have survived the snap? Like if she was snapped? No. Johnny Hall, we don't know that he didn't have any children. Will the Sonyverse be a new reality? Nathan, but game. We were talking about that a little bit earlier. Yeah. I think so. I think that could happen, and that would be really, really cool. One of the things, too, that I keep forgetting to circle back to is there was this awesome comic called Spider-Man, and it was the first time that Peter Parker from our universe and Miles Morales from the Ultimates universe actually crossed paths. And what's really strange there, guys, is a Mysterio from a different dimension from the Ultimates universe comes into our universe, and then our Peter Parker follows him back to his world, which is where Miles Morales is. So there's even more precedence that Mysterio being connected to universe hopping, different worlds. It's a really, really good. It's a Brian Michael Bendis, really, really good story. I don't know if I'm a genius. I'm just really nerdy. I don't know what to say. So hi, Joey Hartman coming in hot with the super chat. How could Loki use the Space Stone without a machine? Because he's like a really powerful sorcerer. He's really, really powerful, and he's also a frost giant, or at least part frost giant. So yeah, he just has the ability to be able to use those things. He's a strong being. Same way Ronan the Accuser can just use the Power Stone just by slamming it into his hammer. You think Hugh Jackman will cameo in Far From Home? Nope. Do you think they'll do a good MCU version of the Clone Saga? Rosity, Chris? I mean, I would love that just because I'm such a big fan of Kane. Not only when he's in the Clone Saga, but later on when he becomes the Scarlet Spider. That is some dope stuff. And actually, Kane, the Scarlet Spider, and the Christopher Yost run, when he goes back to Houston, or when he goes to Houston after they defeat the Spider Queen in New York, when he's in Houston and he's just trying not to be Spider-Man, oh my God. The Kane Scarlet Spider is a dope character. Would love to get to that character. So if we do some Clone Saga stuff, then yeah, I'd be definitely down for that. Did I have chills when everybody returned in Endgame? You're absolutely right, I did. 1,000%. I like Ben Reilly. I mean, like, I like Ben Reilly too. But I don't know. I just always like Kane a little bit more. You know, I love the idea of the villain and he gets reformed. He's sort of still a villain. I almost got a Scarlet Spider tat. Oh, that's pretty cool. What do I think will happen to the Red Skull now? Will he return to the villain or just be shoved to the side? Well, now that the stones are gone, maybe he's done on Vormir? I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I really don't know. I'd love to see him brought back into the MCU. I'd really like to see, like, Falcon and Bucky have to team up and fight Red Skull. That would be sick. Yeah, Christopher Dumont. It was crazy believing that. But Spectre Red Skull would be dope. Hobgoblin in the MCU? Man, I would really like that. I would really like that. That'd be hella cool. Do I think if Captain Marvel snapped instead of Tony, she would have survived? Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say. Maybe not. Is the MCU the MCM now? What's the MCM? I don't. Oh, Multiverse, Marvel Cinematic Multiverse. I think they'll still call it the MCU. Do you miss Stan Lee? Of course. Of course. Gonna go for just 5 more minutes, guys. 5 more minutes. Couple more questions. How long do you think the MCU will go for? I mean, it's just gonna keep going. I don't really think it's gonna stop. I really don't. Bert G coming in hot with the super chat. Do you think Red Skull finally left Vormir with Black Widow, Pym particles, aka time travel tech? And if so, which time period do you think? Oh, Bert G, man, that's you got your thinking cap on. So what I think what you're explaining here is if let's just say after the stones are gone, then he's free. But Black Widow's body's down there with Pym particles and whatnot. So maybe Skull goes down there, grabs the Pym particles, takes the suit, and then time travels. That'd be really wicked. I would like that a lot. What time period would he go back to? I don't know. I guess back to himself. He'd go back to when he was there and try to and then you've got oh man. What if like he goes back, actually gets the Tezzeret, just, kills Cap in the 40s, then starts collecting the other stones, and we get a fully gauntleted freaking Red Skull coming from another dimension. Man, that would be some hype. That would be pretty hype. Do you think Cable will join the MCU? Nah, I mean, not. The Cable might eventually come to the MCU, but it's not going to be Josh Brolin. I don't think they want to muddy the waters like that. Do I like Marvel or DC? Marvel more, but I do love some DC comics. I love Superman, actually. Who will be the next big MCU villain? It's really hard to say. I think that the villain is actually going to be sort of the Beyonders, and more of like instead of a big villain, it's like a big catastrophe. Like the collapsing of the universes and the multiverse will be a big crazy thing. That's sort of a catalyst for all sorts of villains to do things. Peace and serenity. Enjoying your stream while I stay up late painting. Well, I'm glad to hear that. I hope the painting's going well. When do you think they will use Annihilus in the MCU? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Hopefully soon. I think they can use him soon, but again, I just don't know. I'm starting to think they're going to do Black Widow, Eternals, maybe Guardians 3. They're doing, some movies that are not really Earthbound. And then maybe we'll get what's going on in Earth a little bit later. So I don't think we're getting an Avengers movie for a while either. Yeah, DC has incredible animated movies. And I saw someone ask what my favorite MCU movie is. I'm going to have to say it's still Winter Soldier, but I do have to see Endgame again. And Endgame's pretty high on my list. Can't wait for Doctor Strange 2. I can't wait for Doctor Strange 2. Thank you, Luis. I appreciate that, man. Silver Surfer and Galactus will be dope. Do you think Thor will be the first MCU character to have 4 movies? I kind of do, yeah. I kind of do. And I think he deserves it. Ooh, Baron Mordo? Yeah, I think so, because the first movie had Baron Mordo. You know what I mean? But yeah, will he be a full-fledged villain? Yeah, I think so at this point. I think we could see some of the unused misdirected footage from Infinity War and Endgame in a movie later. Ryan Smith says, do you think some of the footage or unused or misdirection stuff from Infinity War and Endgame trailers could be used in a later movie? Maybe, but I'm not counting on it. I'm actually really hoping that there will be an extended cut or at least some deleted scenes on the Blu-ray for Endgame. Really hoping that. Do I like Mephisto? Yeah, Mephisto's dope. Mephisto's dope. I'd love to see some Mephisto brought into the MCU. It'd be really cool. Bishop in the MCU would be awesome too. Yes, Piece of Serenity. I do think Star-Lord will lend Thor his Bowflex. We were just talking about that. Hey, I saw your Twitter. Molten Man is real? That's what that toy is leading us to believe, yeah. When do I think Mephisto will come? It really just depends. I mean, maybe in Doctor Strange 2, maybe in Doctor Strange 3, maybe another movie that deals with demons and magic will happen. Doctor Doom could technically have Mephisto in his movie. That would be kind of cool. Maverick Program, have you heard that all the MCU movies equal 3,000 minutes of film when added together? They love us 3,000. Yes, but that's kind of just ironically a thing. That I Love You 3,000 was actually something that Tony's or Robert Downey Jr.'s kid said to him, and that's what they used that line from. When Snap back, were there no workers at the upstate facility? Maybe they were, and they died. Do I think Black Widow is coming back? No, I do not. Who do you think is the strongest Avenger? I would. Okay, so it's probably a tie between Thor and Captain Marvel. Yeah. And I bet Cap with Mjolnir could kick either one of their asses, actually. But I'm just a Cap fan, so. Hulk before he became Professor Hulk, maybe. Nightmare in Doctor Strange 2. There's rumors of that. That would be pretty dope. Scarlet Witch. Well, how can we forget about Scarlet Witch? She could technically be the strongest. She's very strong. Black Widow will come back from alternate reality. Give me some hope. Raquel Swan. Maybe. That's as much hope as I can give you. Maybe, and if she does, it'll be for Secret Wars. All right, one more question, guys. One more question. Just one. Hmm. Some good questions in there. Some good questions, guys. Cowboys Millionaire. All right, let's do this one from your favorite skinny nerd. Let's do Christian's question. What do you think Shang-Chi movie could be about? Um, Not entirely sure. One would think that, it could be attached to the hand, could be attached to some of the things that we talked about in the Daredevil and the Iron Fist and the Defenders. But then again, maybe that's off limits. I know there's that 2 years sort of gag order thing, so it really depends on what's going on with the contracts between Marvel and Netflix. Shang-Chi could just be his own thing. I just I don't really know too much what to think about that. I would love for it to be tied to the hand, but again, I just don't know how they can do that with the contracts. Either way, Shang-Chi is a dope character, and I think it'll be sort of a more intimate movie. It's going to be an MCU kung fu movie. You know what I mean? But like with crazy effects and stuff too. So, yeah, that's all I really need is the genre on that, like crazy MCU kung fu movie, and I'm completely in. I think that is amazing. Karate! Indeed. So that's going to do it for this fan chat live. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. It's been a blast talking about the craziness. Let us know in the comments section below, too, if you're watching this on the replay. What do you think? Is Mysterio lying to everyone, or is there really a multiverse? Let me know what you're thinking about all of that. And as I always say, guys, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.